Yay. Okay, so who
Okay.
we have here is Sami. Hi, Sami.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
Yes, so tell us a little bit, tell the audience a little bit about you, where you from,
Yep.
what you do.
Yeah. So I'm based out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm in real estate. But the definition of my profession has expanded substantially since I've been with you. So having started in real estate, soon it took my journey to not just transacting but also coaching in real estate. And most recently acting as the chief operating officer for my brokerage that I work with. And it's just given me a lot of opportunity. And when I was joining real estate initially, I was told by a lot of people that it's very much a lonesome game. It's a place where you're kind of by yourself. And I've experienced the complete opposite, to be honest with you, because it's become evident to me that like attracts like,
Yes,
and the energy that you put out in the universe is what you attract back,
that's right.
right? So and you're been pivotal in me understanding that concept. My previous career gave me the opportunity to be very analytical, um, like most people, right? Like you work
Yes.
with big corporations, and that was the case for me. And I'm so grateful and thankful for all the experiences that I've been through, especially as part of my last career, where there was tremendous opportunities that were given. I dealt with multiple different types of people. I managed a big book of business, but also with that came, being very black and white in terms of, okay, this is how you're supposed to do things.
Right.
And as I evolved into the journey of being my own business owner, um, and was given the opportunity to really be my own boss, it became a different world because I could finally, act within parameters that feel right, but I didn't know what those parameters were till I found you, right? And Amy, I don't often actually even talk about these things because the concepts are just so foreign to most people.
Yes.
And so this has always been sort of my little secret where, I think people know that I have a results coach, but I never go into detail as to what that is, because what you teach really becomes a way of life. And what I've noticed actually is if I do start talking about it, there is a lack of understanding typically.
Yeah, right. Most people
Right?
don't know.
Because
Yeah.
the concepts are just so foreign. But
Yes.
when you really embed yourself and think about how things work, you learn this new way of life that's certainly been the case for me. So
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And I want to applaud you, Sammy, is that you were always very coachable and very open-minded to these new ways of thinking, right? So like you mentioned, you were a little analytical, like most people are, but you were being able to be coachable and being open to these other ideas and concepts that I wanted to share with you. And because of that, and you actually apply those principles, right? And because of that, you are seeing results and successes in your own life and your own career. Right?
Absolutely.
So yeah. So share with us, Sammy, what are some of the biggest shifts for you? I know there are many, but what are some of the biggest shifts?
So I'd like to tell the audience a little bit about how we started interacting. And I think that's now a funny story. At the time was a scary thought because you called me out on calling myself a new realtor, which very much so analytically and technically was the case.
Correct.
And so that's in public forums, that's how I would typically address myself. And when you called out the fact that I didn't need to, it really made me question how I looked at myself and sort of the belief that I had in myself.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's really what's changed for me over before having met you to now being part of the mentorship is to really appreciate what I bring to the table, right? And have the confidence in being able to do whatever it is that I aspire to do. Because oftentimes we have these goals and aspirations in life, but we never make the necessary steps and decisions because of fears of different sorts. For me, particularly was the fear of others judging and the fear of failure. When I learned to eliminate those two factors, I truly, honestly believe that there's nothing in the world that I won't be able to do as long as I want to do it.
Yes. Oh man, Sammy, like most people just talk about it, right? They talk about the fear holding them back, but they don't really do anything to change that. But with you, like and I mentioned this to you when we first met, is just with a little guidance and direction, you're gonna go take off very fast. I don't know if you remember, I told you that,
I do.
right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Like there's so much change in you. It's so crazy. Like just the fact that you change the way you think, like just a little bit, but then your whole personality, your whole self-image totally shifted. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you're totally a different person from when I first met you. Just your
100%.
level of confidence and yeah.
And I think the construct in society of hierarchy is ingrained in us, and so when we're little, we're told to respect elders and treat certain people's a certain way, and that's certainly been a big part of my upbringing and the culture that my parents taught me, and to this day they follow wholeheartedly. My dad being a first generation immigrant to the country, has always been a very hardworking man, and so he climbed the ladders up in his career, and he's in a good spot now, but for me it always sort of kept me in this box where, okay, I needed to do certain things to be able to accomplish the next step up.
Right.
And as unfortunate as it is, it's not just the parents teaching these particular values, but it also is very much so the societal hierarchy, and the workplace sort of step ladder, the career ladder.
Yep. The incremental gains, we call it, right?
Incremental gain. Yeah.
Yep.
And if you had talked to me about the idea of a quantum leap when I first started the program, I would laugh, because it was very much so, okay, like you needed to be at step B in order to get to step C.
Yep.
And a lot of those concepts are questioned with your coaching, because really the simple question that it boils down to is why. And when you really sit back and think about why, it gives you clarity around, okay, well, if I think that I'm capable of achieving certain things, then why is it that I have to listen to this way of doing things?
Right. Something just didn't add up. Right? Like we knew that we have infinite potential, yet we have like sets of boundaries and belief systems that are holding us back. So something didn't add up. So once you started question that, right, and then showing you some directions and guidance, that's why you kind of just you just took off. Like honestly, Sami, you took off. So share with the audience, what have you manifested since the mentorship?
So a lot of things, and the first thing that you've taught me is the things that make you feel good, it shouldn't come with baggage or guilt, right? And I've really been able to just focus on things that I wanted in life, and not so much things that could potentially hold me back from achieving, let's say, some of the things that I've always wanted was, then my dream car. But now it's a different dream car, and I'm confident that I'll get that too. I wanted a team of realtors underneath me, and I got that. I wanted, the opportunity to be able to make an impact on other professionals' lives by coaching them and mentoring them, and I got that. So, it's crazy because you don't have to, you often put yourself in this box where you start to compare without really recognizing what's within. And your coaching, Amy, has given me the ability to light sparks in others, because the biggest thing that you're able to identify, and I'll keep going back to this over and over again, is the fact that people typically have the fear of failure, and second is the lack of understanding of the universal laws, right? And one of the laws that you've taught me, which sort of embody most of my decisions, is the law of vacuum, where if you're thinking about how little you have, you are not able to think about how much you can have.
Yes.
Right. And I was very much so, along with a lot of people, is, oh my God, I need to have this much money in my bank account to be able to do XYZ. Right.
Yeah.
Where if you switch your thought process behind, this is what I'm going to get because I want to do XYZ. It's a whole different world and a way of living. And I think we don't often talk about the mental health and clarity that is impacted as a result of these beliefs, because you feel lighter.
Yes.
You know, you feel more whole, and you have so much more clarity and belief.
Yes.
And it's crazy because despite all the great things that I achieved in my previous career and life in general, I just never had that sense of comfort and clarity.
That is priceless, because when you have clarity in your mind, then you're able to not only create, but you're also able to receive, right? From, we call it the higher power, if you will. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Listening to your intuition. Yeah.
And that's another thing. I think my decisions are now, it's funny because this is what I would have advised people not to do if this was exactly a year ago, or 6 to 8 months ago, whenever we started the program, which is following facts over intuition. But now I really let my intuition guide me, and I've yet to be proven wrong. It's just I never previously listened to my gut, and then I would always question when things would go wrong. And now I've learned to really just take a step back and release my analytical mind and just follow my heart and my gut about things that feel right, and let my intuition guide my decisions. And it's been a wonderful way of not just business, but just life in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I said, Sami, like you went from literally one end of the spectrum, right? Being a very analytical, to the other end where you tap into your intuition. That's very two different ends of the spectrum.
And it's scary, right? But when you start to see proof, and when you start to believe, and it's difficult to even explain this, because you don't see the fruit, so to speak, till you put in the work of the belief.
Correct. Yes.
So you have to challenge yourself to really believe, and then from that belief follows the actual result. So, and that's why people have so much challenge, especially people that have been in my previous position, where I was so guided by analytics and facts and other people's experiences that I just never allowed my intuition to lead decisions. When I chose to believe that I could in fact allow intuition to be a guiding force in life, it's just given me so much clarity and just peace, because I know I'm doing the right thing.
Exactly. Your intuition will always guide you. It will never wrong you, right? But before you weren't aware about the intuition. Like you weren't, and that's the thing about not knowing who you are and your infinite potential, right? So, but once you get to know who you are, who you truly are, while letting go of all these limiting beliefs that have been holding you back, the true essence you comes out.
Yeah,
right? And that's what
absolutely.
I'm loving seeing this version of you, Sami. Yeah, this whole new version of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a complete contrast as to the person that I was a
totally.
year ago. It's yeah, and it speaks based on my actions, based on you know, who I choose to be around.
Hmm.
Um, and that's the one thing that you realize when you truly understand yourself, and when you know, we've done a lot of exercises where we had to let go of some scars from the past,
Yeah.
and bring up some you know, things that have been holding me back that I didn't even know of, and it was just so deep in the subconscious. And so when you really clear yourself of all these things,
Yeah.
and you have the ability to just be, it 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 unfortunately makes you the journey of self-love and appreciation can be a lonely journey,
Hmm.
because it really allows you to identify who should belong in your life and who shouldn't.
Hmm.
And that's a different journey for every single person. I've had my own battles, as you know, with that journey.
Hmm.
But really, when you truly start to love yourself,
Yeah.
you spend the necessary amount of time and making sure that your energies are aligned with those around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Amazing, Sami. So yeah, so share with the audience a little bit about what made you decide to invest in this mentorship in the beginning.
So I'll be honest with you. I think the 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 reason behind the investment in the program was other people's experience, and you know, is what led to the conversation with you.
Mm,
Is I saw some colleagues and friends that have had just a phenomenal experience and a change and shift in their personal, you know, self-image and the things that they've been able to achieve in life. But really, the decision maker for me was when he asked me whether or not I was happy where I was.
mm,
I don't know if you remember this, but you know, that really made me instantly decide that I wanted to be happier, and I wanted to be in a place that I always aspired to be in, and I didn't want to, you know, have a crutch, because at the time that we started this journey, I hadn't even transacted once, right, in real estate.
yes,
Um, and so it was a questionable time, because you know, investment into a coaching program
yes.
without cash flow is a risk, right?
Mhm.
Because there were so many whys that were coming, um, and and my happiness took priority, because I knew that I needed to get rid of some toxic traits and habits that I had built up as a reasoning as a result, sorry, of being conditioned by uh, those around me
Mhm.
and society and upbringing, and you can't do that alone, right? And
No.
like,
Yep.
you need someone. And I'm grateful to have met you, because you helped me develop all of that. And my advice for anyone listening to this is, you got to take that first step and recognizing that you can't do everything in life alone. You need coaches,
Yes.
and you need people with experience who can guide you to that promised land of whatever. Like, there's, you know, some of the greatest players have coaches for a reason.
Exactly. Yep. Even coaches have coaches.
Yeah, like you have a coach,
I have a coach. Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, and I'm coaching others, and you're my coach.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
Yeah. We all
so I
have
think,
blind spots, right?
yeah,
We're not
exactly.
able to see. Yeah.
Hmm.
And we all need help to be able to go to the next level.
Hmm.
And a mentorship coaching, as you know, is
Yeah,
really shortens time, right? Because you're able to guide people with your expertise and knowledge, so they
yeah,
can achieve right in a shorter amount of time. Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sami, for sharing. And I love everything you said. And it's just been amazing to see your growth. And I think I shared this with you in the beginning of our mentorship. I already shared with you, like, you've like grown so fast in a so short amount of time like you're able to grasp a lot of concepts and ideas. Like once I talk to you a little bit, and then you're able to like grasp that idea right away.
And
So,
I'll point that out, Amy, because that's what you ask for from your clients, is to believe and to let go of previous beliefs. And I would say, in order for your program to work for anyone, there needs to be recognition around the fact that you're unlearning a lot of the things that you've been raised up all your life with, whether that be through parents or friends, family, colleagues, career. And so my thought process behind that was, okay, well, if I'm trusting Amy to take me on this journey, if I've made the decision, then it's not fair to me to have a wall up. So I decided to break that wall, and I decided to be completely open to all these foreign ideas, even when it didn't make sense in the beginning.
Yes.
And when you do that, it just really only took the first couple of weeks for me. And after the couple of weeks, it was like that light that hit, where I'm like, okay, I now understand. But I needed to cognizantly keep those limiting beliefs away as far as possible in those first couple of weeks for this program to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, that is not easy to do, Sami. To be able to let go of all the limiting beliefs and even the walls, right? About the beliefs and trust and things like that. It wasn't easy. I know, right?
Yeah.
But that's why you had such growth in so short amount of time, because you were willing to do that. Seriously, like you're wide open. You're so willing, right?
Yeah.
And I talked about being coachable. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think vulnerability is key, because you as my coach need to know everything about me and everything that is going through my head, because if you don't, then you're not in a position to be able to best help me, which is not only not fair to you, but it's not fair to me.
That's right.
And that's what you teach about this program, is really nothing is about anyone else. It's about feeding yourself, right?
Yes.
And once you develop that self-love and appreciation for yourself, where you really prioritize yourself over everything and anything else, you have the capacity to then give people more.
Right.
Where we've been brought up all of our lives thinking, okay, we need to prioritize XYZ people in our lives,
and put yourself last.
And put yourself last. And that's just so counterproductive, because if you're not at, and we like to talk about vibrations and your high state of vibration, but in simple terms, let's just say, if you're not your happiest and you're not feeling your best, then how does it make sense that you're able to enlighten someone else's life and empower them? It just doesn't work.
No, that's right. So everything starts with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Sami, for sharing that. And I'm very excited to see what's next for you. And I know we're gonna invite you come back here to share more of the manifestations for your next level of growth. Yeah.
And one thing before we finish up, Amy, I'm not going anywhere. I continue to stay with you for as long as I can learn as much as I can from you. And the amount of things that I've been able to accomplish within the 6 months journey are things both professionally, personally, and monetarily that I wouldn't imagine I would have even in 6 years. So if anyone has doubts in their mind that this program will not work, I assure the audience that is not the case. As long as they can be vulnerable and open to these new concepts, I've seen more than a 10x return in the program. And I saw that 10x return within the first 3 months of the program, not even the full program, right? So if that's not enough to make people understand how amazing your program is, I don't know what else is, because I'm a proven example, and so are the rest of your students.
Yes, thank you for that. And at the end of the day, Sami, it's applauding you because you did the work.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
That's why you have the results. Right. I can show you, I can guide you, but at the end of the day, if people don't do the work, they won't see the results.
You got to do the work. Yeah.
Exactly. They got to work 100%. It.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to do the work to see
You just
it.
gotta do the
Absolutely.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you so
You're
much
very
for
welcome.
coming on, for sharing with the audience. And
Of course.
we'll excited to see you when you come back next time. What other
Of
things are you going
course.
to be manifesting?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.